business, what type of business we still want to know. That'll.
Well, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started today. We thank you so much for joining us. This is the Resources to Start Your Business session with Miss Katie Gales and also Cherith Roberson. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our presentation. Thank you for your time today.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that you decided to join us. Cherith and I are partners in the small business and entrepreneurship support that's provided by Wake Tech, which is significant, as you will find out. I'm Director of Entrepreneurship Initiatives, and Cherith directs the Wake Tech Small Business Center. Should we move on to the next
Yeah,
chart?
so the next slide is exactly what I was asking you as we got started. How many of you are in business already? So now we really want you guys to participate. Let us know in the chat box if you are already in business. This will help us make sure that we're answering any questions you might have if you're already in business. We often have folks join us who are already in business but still want to know what resources are available. So please go ahead and let us know. So we designed this as kind of a three-part starting a business, steps to starting a business. So not only are we talking about some general overview for starting a business, but we are also going to walk through a brief exercise at the end of our session for helping you evaluate whether or not now might be a great time for you to start a business. And we'll definitely talk about the resources that we have at Wake Tech to support you in your entrepreneurial endeavors. So the step one for starting a business is evaluating yourself and your business model. And this might sound overly simplistic as we walk through these steps, but I promise you that each step is really important. So when you're evaluating yourself and thinking about whether or not now makes sense to start a business, Katie and I often talk about this, and where you're at in your life, and the exercise that we do at the end of the session will really help you think through some of these steps. But there are certain things that you have to be able to commit to when you're starting your own business. Time is, your most valuable resource. So having the time to commit to starting a business and being realistic about that is really important. We often talk about if you have a lot of ongoing commitments in your life, is there time to start a business, or how do you plan around that? Katie, some of the things that you most often talk about is your support system.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about what that typically looks like, or good best practices for it?
Absolutely. So when you're starting a business, everybody in your house is really starting that business with you. So you have to make sure that your family is aware and is on board with you starting this business, because the time that you devote to the business will often be time that you used to devote to them. You may need quiet space, a dedicated place to work, some time to do things on your own, some time away from the family. So you got to get that lined up as well. Then there are other resources that you're going to learn about that Wake Tech can provide and other community organizations can provide. But no matter what we provide, if you don't have the home front taken care of, it will be very difficult, very challenging for you to start your business. We have a lot of entrepreneurs that are mothers, and they have family responsibility. You need to think about what's going to happen with your children. How will they get picked up? Who will help them with their homework? Can you do that? So I would say your first thing in your support system is making sure that you've got your family on board, especially your spouse, and then start looking to other resources outside of your family, like the things that you can get from Wake Tech.
So that's step one, is really evaluating, where am I at? Do I have the support system in place? And or how do I advocate to make sure I have the support system in place? Because often, especially for our women entrepreneurs, we have to speak up and really advocate for what our goals are. So, and we can help guide you through that process. The second part is evaluating your business model. So this is like the very beginning stage of writing your business plan. We together have several programs to help walk through writing your business plan and really flushing it out. But your business model is essentially, how do I make money and pay my bills? So, the what that's going to look like is, if you're a Main Street business, let's say that you're a restaurant, how are you making money for your restaurant? Are you covering all of your costs of doing business? And then can you pay yourself at the end of the day? So how are your customers coming to you? How are you making money and paying your bills? Because ultimately what many people want with their business is financial security. So, so that is a pivotal part of looking at your business model. We often see that small business owners will come in and say, I have this expertise, but I'm not really sure how to apply it to make money. So walking through that business plan, even if it's a simple business plan, a lot of people are intimidated by writing business plans, and I get it. Writing a 50-page plan can feel really intimidating and overwhelming. That's not necessary to write a business plan. You may need one eventually, but you can start off and really evaluate your business model in on 2 or 3 pages, and we can help guide you through that. So that is your step 1. And
And
now, oh, go
I
ahead,
just wanted
Katie.
to mention about when it comes to the business model, and Cherith mentioned how you make money, that you want to figure out who your customer is and can they pay or will they pay for your services. We get so many people who are interested in using their expertise to solve a social problem or to meet a need, and they are trying to help people. And sometimes the people that they're trying to help cannot or will not pay for their services. That means you probably want to start a nonprofit instead of a for-profit. That's one of the basic questions. And if you're trying to solve a problem, I want to make this service or this product really affordable to people. Then the question is, can you price it at that level and still be profitable, as Cherith mentioned? So those are key questions too. How can you make money? Who's your customer and will they pay?
Yeah, which leads us directly into that start writing your business plan. And this is where the Small Business Center and entrepreneurship initiatives can really support your business through some of our programming. So when you write a business plan, it's a personal endeavor that can feel overwhelming, as I mentioned earlier. So having a trusted person who you can work with, including your small business center counselor. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Working with a mentor through one of our launch programs, that can really help you make sure that your business plan is reflective of what your goals are for your business.
So we got a question in the chat: how do nonprofits make money?
Oh, that's
And
a good question.
that is a good question, because a nonprofit is just another form of incorporation with special tax provisions. You do have to make money either through donations or through offering some type of service. When you come in to start working on your business plan, sometimes people aren't sure exactly which form they're going to take, whether it's going to be a for-profit or a nonprofit, and you just start working through the process, either with the Small Business Center counselors or through the Launch program, which is more intensive hand-holding in a classroom and curriculum environment. But you have to either get donations to make money as a nonprofit, or you have to have something that people pay for. For instance, the NFL and the NBA are nonprofits, and they certainly found something that people would pay for.
Yeah, their nonprofits look in a lot of different ways, but ultimately, when you get your 501c3 certification, that makes you a nonprofit in the eyes of the IRS. The goal of your business is that you're giving back and you're doing good for the community. So that's what gives you that nonprofit designation. And some of the most traditional ways that nonprofits make money, and I say make in air quotes because technically a nonprofit isn't making money, although you do have to cover the cost of your expenses and ideally pay your employees, although many nonprofits, especially in their early years, operate off of mostly volunteers. So nonprofits traditionally, some of the ways that they are able to operate in the community is through grants. Grants require a lot of work and are pretty time intensive. So it does require some expertise on the part of the nonprofit in order to receive a grant and then spend it within the grant guidelines they're given. And then traditional fundraising. I worked in fundraising for several years, and fundraising can be as simple as working with your business community and your community at large to say, hey, I want to raise money for this organization on behalf of this thing, and would you be willing to make a donation at 5, 10, 15, $20 or much more than that? So that is a very traditional model of fundraising, and it still works for a lot of nonprofits today. But Ravi, if you are interested in starting a nonprofit, what I'd really advise is to start thinking about what benefit it's going to give to the community, and then working with us at the Small Business Center to help guide you through that process, because we do have expertise in working with nonprofits. They are a business too. So
Mm-hmm.
that brings us over to step 3. And again, this may seem really simplistic, you guys, but I promise this step by step is going to help you get started. So your step 3, so you've already done a self-evaluation and started thinking about how people come to you, how you make money. Then you're starting to write a business plan. So those are steps 1 and 2. And you're working with us as your resources to walk through that business plan. So now step 3 is making a list of what you physically need to get started. Often people want to jump straight to step 3 before they go through steps 1 and 2. And we really encourage you. This step 3 is part of step 2 in writing your business plan, but it's not all inclusive. So making a list of what you need to get started. That includes many times one of the first questions I get is, what kind of business structure should I have? Should I be an LLC or something else? And we can't, I'm not an attorney. We're not attorneys, so we can't give you legal advice on business structures, but we can help educate you on what the different types of structures are so that you can make an educated decision or work with an attorney to choose one. If you're starting a brick and mortar, thinking through the space and supplies and what they look like. I was just able to go to a grand opening of a client yesterday. She opened a small retail space where she is selling local foods. So thinking through the whole process of what she needed to open the space, including renovating the space, painting the space, but then buying the inventory and the supplies. It's quite a long list. So having a list of what you need there for space and supplies. And then of course the big question, Katie, we could do a whole day on money.
We absolutely could, because money comes in so many different forms. Um, so there's the money that you have yourself that you can use to help start your business. There's the money that you may be able to get from other people who are interested in supporting your business. And then there's the money that you might need to borrow from a financial institution of some form. And then there's also the money from your first clients. And so understanding where this funding is going to come from and when you actually need it is really critical. In that first year of life, one of the most important things about your business is cash flow. Can you operate every month without ever running out of money? If you can get through that first year, then what you learn in that first year and the spending pattern that you see will help you figure out how to move forward. I want to mention something about space and supplies that we see is, even if you're not opening up a retail store, someplace where customers are coming, you still need to think about what type of space you need to operate. If you ever plan to have employees, or even if you just need a space where you can live yourself, you want to think about accommodating that so that you're not stuck trying to run your business from the kitchen table forever. For human resources, if you've never hired before in your professional life, this can be very daunting, figuring out the right way to hire people and to determine who's an employee versus who's a contractor, a 1099, somebody you don't pay payroll taxes on. And of course, we're not HR experts, but we have access to HR experts that can give you a lot of great guidance into when to hire, how to hire right, and how to meet your obligations to the government in paying payroll taxes, and depending upon the number of employees you have, paying a workman's compensation we can help you find those experts to give you that kind of guidance. Now,
Absolutely. Do you want to talk about inventory too,
yeah,
Katie?
I was just going to mention that, a lot of people will start service-based businesses because they're easier to start because it does not require an investment in inventory. But some of our favorite businesses are those that do require inventory. They're the small food businesses, the retail stores, the gift shops. So this is something that you want to pay attention to if you're going to be selling something directly to the clients and the customers, and you're not drop shipping.
Yeah. And drop shipping is a term that is used for, let's say you sell something, but you don't actually keep the inventory on hand. You would send the wholesaler the order and they would actually ship it to the customer. So a little bit of lingo there. So now we're going to talk about our favorite part, which is using your resources.
Yay.
Um, so we are funded, the Small Business Center is funded by your tax dollars. And so the resources that we're going to talk about between the Small Business Center and entrepreneurship initiatives, they're free for you. And we want to make sure that you are aware and can take advantage of it, because every time you pay your taxes, you are helping fund us. And so we're here to serve you. So the Small Business Center focuses on a couple of key areas. One is we offer seminars, webinars, workshops all throughout the year, many times in the evenings. Our traditional evenings are Tuesdays and Thursday evenings. And of course, right now we're operating virtually. So via webinar, we cover almost any topic that you can think of for a startup small business. So we talk about everything from using Instagram for marketing to the basics of bookkeeping. We have a partnership with multiple community organizations. So this Friday, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about filling your sales funnel and what that looks like. And essentially what that means is, how do my customers get to me, and how do I think through the whole process of them starting, them being interested in me, to them actually sending me a check or making that purchase. So we cover a wide variety of topics, and you can see our full schedule on our website at sbc.waketech.edu, or just remember Google Small Business Center at Wake Tech and our website will come up. Then we have some more targeted sessions that include our Black Business Momentum series that is targeted for Black business owners. Same thing for our Hispanic Business Momentum series. We are targeting Hispanic business owners who are working in Wake County. Then we have our nonprofit webinar specifically for, I think, Ravi, you were asking about nonprofit. So if you're interested in starting a nonprofit, there are differences in between for-profit and nonprofit businesses, as I'm sure you're aware. So our nonprofit webinars cover those. And Katie, do you want to talk about the
Sure.
launch?
So the Launch Wake County courses are active in 7 towns. These are community-based programs that take small business owners and entrepreneurs who earn admittance into the courses through a 10-week curriculum with homework and with mentoring to either start or grow a business that is a bit stalled. And we've got 304 graduates. We're adding another 86 this fall to this community, and we are trying to create more of a marketplace where these small businesses can support each other. We have an annual reunion, and between Cherith and I, we do an awful lot of community presentations and business expos. And there's the famous Small Business Center newsletter that goes out regularly, almost every month, and a lot very active in social media. What you see on this chart, you have 2 columns. One's called Reach and one is called Rally. And this is the strategy that Wake Tech is using to reach the marketplace and support Wake County in general, that we want to do everything that we can to make sure that we are reaching our constituents, the people out there who need to know about us and need to use our services. And then once we've reached them, then everything in the rally column is all about wrapping a blanket of support around them to help them get where they want to go. Now, our small business centers counseling services are very high quality. Cherith, you want to talk a little bit more about those?
Sure. So we have free one-on-one confidential business counseling where myself or my team of awesome counselors sits down with you virtually via Zoom, like we're doing right now. We have a conversation and we walk through your business goals. So I think many of you are probably just thinking about how you want to start a business, but I imagine that maybe one or two of you are already in business, and our counselors meet you where you're at with your business, and we walk through strategies and physical steps to take your business from idea to growth and beyond. So I'll give you just a quick example of what that might look like. Let's say that Kim, you want to start a food truck. And so what you would do is you would come into the Small Business Center virtually and say, hey, I'm putting in a request for counseling through your website, and I really want to start a food truck, but I have no idea what to do next. I don't know what licenses I need. I don't know how to find a truck. I think that this might be what my menu looks like, but I'm really not sure what to do next. So our counselors can walk you through step by step what you need to do. We don't do the work for you, but we walk side by side with you to help you get that food truck started. So I like to say that you are driving the bus, but we will be the gas to help you get to your destination.
So in the Lodge Wake County program, after the participants have finished their 10-week course, we assign them to a mentor that is ideally chosen to help them with what they need. But when they finish with that mentor, we send them to the Small Business Center counselors, because you're at there, that's coming through the course is just the beginning. They will need ongoing support. If you're in business, there's always something that you have a question about, or that you need some assistance with. So we try to close the loop by making sure that all of the small business owners and entrepreneurs that come to us eventually go to the Small Business Center for counseling. And of course, Wake Tech ends up being the wide mouth of the funnel for many people. We're visible, they know that we're here, and they start with us as the first line of support. But we refer to a lot of other service providers in the area. We know where all of the other resources are. So Wake Tech is a good place to start.
Yes, we work with, I think, Katie, I was looking at the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything, but we work with over 70
Yes.
resource providers in Wake County. And what we want to encourage you all to know is that our resource providers and our government institutions, like the Department of Labor or the North Carolina Department of Revenue, really want to make sure that you have the tools and information that you need in order to be successful. So if you have a question or you're concerned about a various business topic, we do partner really closely with them, and they are there. They have people in-house to help answer your questions and help navigate this.
We also work with all 12 of the chambers of commerce in the area. So, just come to us and we'll make sure that you end up in the right place.
And I'm watching the time, Katie. How does this happen? This always happens with us.
Yeah.
We love to get talking. So I'll give you a quick. So we're part of the Small Business Center network of North Carolina, the Wake Tech Small Business Center. So we have across the entire network, every single community college has a small business center, and we have over 4,000 events statewide, webinars and workshops, with over 100 happening in Wake County each year to help support your business. And that means that we have almost 2,000 people who attended a session last year with us, and we worked with 503 businesses in Wake County to help them start and grow their business. But you guys were a best kept secret, so we want you to spread the news of the Small Business Center and our work with entrepreneurs. So if you have friends or family across the state, anywhere in North Carolina, they would go to their local community college, to their small business center to help them start or grow.
And I'm not going to say very much about this chart at all, except to say the Launch Wake County program is there to work in the individual towns, really going grassroots, developing cohorts of small businesses in each town so that we can educate them right there where they live and start them working together. I mentioned that by the end of this year, we'll have 396 graduates. You can see the 7 towns that we are active in right now, and our goal is to cover all 12 towns eventually. We can go on to the next chart.
So this is our contact information. And from here, what I'm going to do is we ran out of time to do the exercise in person, but I'm going to give you all the link for it. Or Teresa, if you don't mind putting that in the chat, then you can make a copy of that exercise. It's in Google Sheets, and complete it yourself. And that exercise is really going to help you start to think about and evaluate whether or not now might be a great time for you to start a business. It's not a hard and fast rule. So but it will help you think through, do I have the time and commitment to make this happen? Because it's definitely a commitment, and we want to see you be successful when you decide to start. So some people take a year and a half or 2 years to plan, and that is perfectly okay.
Yeah, you're on your own timeline. I will tell you, if you take this exercise and do it, it would be a great thing to bring with you for your first counseling session with the Small Business Center. And I want you to know that Launch Cary and Launch Wake Forest are accepting applications for the spring right now. Cary is also accepting applications for Morrisville. So if you're in those towns and you want an intensive deep dive curriculum, that please take a look at those programs. You can go to the link, entrepreneurship.waketech.edu. Please sign up for counseling with the Small Business Center. We hope to see you.
Yes, thank you all so much for joining us. If you do come in, if you do schedule a counseling session, make sure you let your counselor know how you found out about the Small Business Center. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of our open house sessions today. I think we might have, what, 1 or 2 minutes for any questions,
1
Teresa?
minute, exactly.
1 minute for questions. So if any question, or we can take them via email too.
No questions. We answered every single one in advance.
I love it. Thank you all. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your sessions.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.